So today I recently came across a person who's apparently one of these real unicorn, attractive and traditional, white women in the conservative rights sphere, and do these actually pan out in real life? So we're gonna do an in real life checkup on a unicorn, so to speak, and so we're gonna really see if she's legit and if people ought to be simping for her, like I saw in the comment sections of this video that I'm gonna show you guys. So let's really see what happens now with respect to what goes on. Let's see what the profile looks like on YouTube. So for starters, you have Nazarin Veronica, right? Unvaccinated, review, and then, colon or whatever, painfully patronizing documentary treated. So again, right off the bat, that's what she's known for. I don't even know what that is. But we're going to go ahead and watch this channel called Just Pearly Things. And we're going to see Sneako try to riz her up or something. And he's going to get really taken aback with how red-pilled she is, allegedly. So let's see what happens. Let me share the screen, and you'll see exactly what I'm referring to. This is something that most people don't really account for nowadays. So let's go ahead and resize the camera, and we're going to get right into it, okay? So let's put it right there. All right, so let's start sharing the window, and you'll see what I mean in the video.
Okay.
Hello.
Take 3. Welcome back. I gotta hug you one more time.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, it is. I actually hope the mic fails again so we can do that. It's great to have you back.
Great
blah,
to
blah,
be
blah.
here again.
Just so they kept cutting out, and we talked about it. So I asked you how you'd like to go out
You
tonight.
said you want to marry me,
And get you
pregnant.
I don't think I said that.
You definitely said that.
I don't remember saying that. But it's just TV, so it's different. But I do want to have an actual conversation and take you out for an actual date. You've clearly won. I told they can go. Bye. The rest of them I don't have to
Oh
watch
my
it.
God.
No, they can leave. So yeah, we were talking about the jab and how you can't trust somebody who's taking it because they're going to trust the government again.
Yeah, it's hard to be with a man who has had it because, if they fell for that, what else are they going to fall for in the future? Like with the New World Order, are they going to fall for that and believe that it's climate change as well? Like, you have to be careful with who you
Agree with.
Exactly. Because you have to have the same mindset, otherwise, you hear stories of people not wanting to jab their kids, and then the partner goes and does it behind their back, which is like that's probably the worst thing that could ever
That's a
happen.
divorce.
So right off the bat, you can see, again, we're going to characterize the attractiveness of the girl because she can be as base as you want. Like, for instance, obviously, she's probably to the right of, like, virtually any other girl you do, like, first date, like in this instance. But then again, she was cherry-picked by the Pearl chick, so you have to consider that into the matrix of this whole scenario. Second thing would be that, again, so just off of appearances, what do we think, right? Right here, she's kind of like average. You got to think, she's all dolled up, right? So she's ready for this date. She got makeup. She's probably like a 6 or a 7. With makeup on. So without, we're talking like a 5-ish. So again, how attractive the girl is and how traditional she is correlates 1-to-1 basically, because if she's really traditional, odds are she's pretty ugly because girls that are really pretty are sexualized at a young age and pursued at a young age. So you have to consider that. How rare is it to have a hot chick that's also traditional? Extremely rare. And so we're going to boil it down. She's pretty much average in looks. Above average if you want her all like souped up, but most of the time she won't look like that. So consider that, guys.
Offense.
100%.
I think it's a crime.
It should be a crime.
I haven't heard any stories about that, but I mean, I would say it's clearly the next pandemic. They're going to go and track our carbon footprint. They're going to tell us how much we can go outside, how much we can use gas, how much we can use our air conditioning, and that's going to way that they're going to quarantine us. So
Another fear campaign. That's what it is. A psyop.
all this time, you're using all the same word. Yeah, they control everybody with fear, and they brainwash a lot of people into. And I've seen it with a lot of the girls that we've been on dates, or that I've been on dates with today. They're just like they're clubbing all the time, and they're not really focused on the future. And I like that you have a clear plan for your future and what you want. I was really surprised that you said you want 7 kids. That's like a big
Maybe
test.
more.
Maybe more? You think you can handle it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
22.
Oh yeah, you can handle it. You
Yeah.
gotta start soon though.
I know.
22, okay, that's another key factor, okay? You have to consider, all right, you're 22 years old. That's young in, like, normative terms for dating. Obviously, when you're dating, usually the girl's, like, what, 26 or something? Sneako's, like, 25 almost. You have to consider, again, you want a younger girl as a guy, usually. And so what that means is, how young? And so for him, he mentions in passing he probably wants, like, an 18-year-old, which I understand, right? But so 22, is that really a strike against her necessarily? No, but you have to also consider you've been an adult for almost 5 years at this point. Who else have you been with? Whereas, like, if you're 18 or 19, you could very well have not had a serious boyfriend up until that point. And so that would be a benefit to somebody who wants to imprint on a young woman like Sneako or somebody like Islamic. So you have to consider that. If she's 22 and she's above average looking, you have to consider that she has the possibility of having a new boyfriend every other, 6 months. And so, odds are she's probably had like 2 to 3 at this point. What are those looking like? What's the competition for you when she was 19 and her boyfriend was like 27? Theoretically, that could be a method of like basically saying, well, you know what? that's going to be harder for me to attain a girl like that who's already been imprinted by an alpha, let's say. And so that's where the calculus runs into why you don't want her to be 22, why you want her to be a little bit younger than that. Now, granted, will you be that picky nowadays? You know, how rare is it for a girl to be unvaccinated and have all these other characteristics that we like? Typically, not too common. So again, take that into account. So let's keep going.
And
I wouldn't be opposed to it right now. I'm not doing anything like that. Like, I'm not partying or anything. I've never really had that in me. So why not start now?
the sooner the better. I agree. I always wanted to be a young father. But yeah, this was, I don't really find often that I click with somebody this quickly.
Yeah.
And you said earlier when the mic cut out that there's even a dating app for unjabbed people. You haven't used it though, right?
Okay, so she says she's
But I
ready
like
for
that.
dating, right?
I just
But
like
again, you've
interesting
been ready to date and to have kids for 4 years
Yeah,
technically.
more
What have you done
natural.
constructively in the last 4 years?
Yeah, I
Is
think
my
it's extremely
question.
important. I don't think if you meet somebody on an app or something, it's like
It
Bill
feels
Gates has
forced.
handed it. Mark Zuckerberg orchestrated it. And
Exactly.
it's
It's not the
strange.
same.
But yeah, you won. And this is our third time having this conversation, so we're having to force a little bit.
We're having to repeat things, but it still feels natural.
Can I have your contact information?
My contact
Yeah.
information, sure.
Get that before.
Not Snapchat though.
No, I don't.
Gosh.
Don't have to. I'm a girl man.
I'm glad. It's nice to hear.
She's really
And I'm
willing
not
to go out with him, I can tell, but
usually
again, you have to consider that Sneako has clout, so. Okay, so that
Okay.
works out, I suppose.
I won. I won. She won, but I won. We're good.
Oh,
Let's move ahead slightly.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, I think we connect well. Hope we do.
Okay, let's see what happens at the end.
Raw eggs.
I actually have raw eggs.
Are you serious?
Sometimes in the morning, like with milk and honey.
I'm
It's
about
like
to.
eggnog. But
Okay.
roasted.
No.
Well, because I have raw eggs sometimes.
Raw eggs is what the? Okay, yeah, cool. I won. We win. We win.
Okay, so he really fell head over heels for the chick. You have to consider the fact that, again, she is somewhat rare, but again, let's not try to hype up something that's mid. So let's be honest with that. He's obviously more jaded with the women because he's been an adult for 5 years. I've been an adult for like 2. And so let's just keep everything into frame. But I'm going to nitpick the girl because, of course, she's public. She has thousands of followers. As you can see right there, she has 8,800. So you have to consider the source. You have to consider, again, who has she been with before, the competition aspect, the age, all plays a part. So I want to nitpick it all because nobody else is fulfilling the snitch on YouTube. And so I'm going to do it right now. So let's go through the Instagram first. She has 97 posts. That's a lot. Okay. That's a lot of posts. I can, what's up with that? Also 8,800 followers. Unless she has like an OnlyFans or something, she's not going to live off of the Instagram. So you have to wonder where she gets the money from. In the video, she didn't foreclose any sort of or disclose more particularly what job she should have, right? And if she's in university, she's finishing it now. So odds are she doesn't have a lot of income coming in anyway. So that's kind of interesting. How does she get her money? Does she do it through simps? Does she do it through dating more successful men and then leaving them because she's a toxic person? We don't know yet. And so we ought to look through the profile and see what's going on. But right now, red flag number 1 would be 97 posts. That's a really high amount. Think about it. If you've had the account since you were 18, let's say, for instance, you have to look at it as a balance of accountabilities. You have 48 months out of that adulthood. Then you have, let's say 50 months. That's about 2 posts a month. What are you doing in a month that you have to post twice? We don't know yet, so we're going to see. But it does seem like a little bit of a high amount of posting. I won't lie about that. So let's go all the way down, and we're going to read this. Now, let's get all the way to the bottom because we really need to get the most cohesive view. Because if you read the comments of the video, everybody likes her. If you look over here, down here. So let me see this. The power of a feminine woman. This is why women have power. Every man turns to goo when he has a girl that he has true feelings for. This is genuine chemistry. This was so genuine, her softness. I would have fell for this girl pretty quick. So everybody's simping for her in the comments. So this is why I need to correct this behavior and see if she's actually legit. So we're starting off, what year is this? 2016. Okay, so she was underage at this point, but she was posting sushi pics. This is even older. Okay, whatever. We're just going to see if she has any hoey pics is my point. So right here, this is completely fine. And this is going to be, what year was this? 2017. Okay, so she was like 17. Whatever. Oh, uh-oh. Okay, first of all, this picture, all right, fine. That's okay. We look at this picture, though, and all of a sudden, a nose ring pops up. Interesting. This is when she's, okay, so if she were born, the year 2000, she's like 18 here? Not looking so good. First of all, just right off the bat, not good. What's this? She's at the beach. Whatever. Let's look at this. Okay. I don't want to hear you sing. Okay, what about this? More singing. Okay, Is that hoe behavior? Not really. So I'm not gonna hold it against her. But then again, if the singing isn't good, then don't try. She's holding a rat here, right? A gerbil. Who cares? Let's look at this picture. What's up here? She sucks at filters, by the way. You can tell she's Arab. Okay, what about this one? Nothing special, nothing that bad. Okay. Anyhow, let's keep looking. Nothing too out of the ordinary as well here. She's covering it up pretty well. She's wearing a sweater in this one. And yeah, women do post on Instagram. Even the trad ones do post, even if they're fully clothed, they are seeking attention. But, that's just like all women. Generally, they want attention. And so I don't really hold that against her as an individual. So it's not a strike against her now. Um, you're the lamest conspiracy theorist I've ever seen, says the quote here. I don't even know what that means. Again, this sort of outfit is a little bit provocative, I can't lie. The super high boots. What sort of really devout Christian girl has ever worn these sort of boots before? I've never seen these ever in my life. That's bizarre. So that's totally a red flag. And then showing all this leg. And again, if this were the average chick off of Tinder, I would not blink twice at this. But because she's being marketed as like this pristine, the most conservative girl on the panel, this ought to be scrutinized. And again, this is stuff that she's posting publicly. So just imagine what she gets up to behind the scenes. Virtually every conservative person is less trad when the lights are off because they want to present themselves as a role model. And so it turns out that you presenting yourself as such entitles me to go through your public stuff and also give the reverse of the benefit of the doubt, but sow seeds of doubt into the populace and say, you know what? Odds are, if you're posting yourself in the leggings or whatever, that you're doing something less traditional outside of the public purview. That just makes common sense, right? For instance, if you're somebody who espouses that you're on a diet, okay, and you're going to be the person that eats Twinkies on camera, odds are you're going to the buffet as well outside of frame. And that's just common sense. So right now we have normal post in dresses. That's okay. Is that her mother? No. So she was on BBC documentaries about the vaccine, which is kind of whatever. But it does show that she is soliciting attention. She's interacting with the outside world. And if you're one of these people like Islamic traditionalists that don't want the girl to leave the house and stuff, that's not a good thing. I personally don't have an issue about that, but I am a Christian, so that is different. Now look at this with the she's clothed enough. I won't nitpick that. Let's keep going. What's this? She's in a rap song. That's odd. She's in that kind of provocative top as well. Kind of sus. She's with this big black guy. Arrest Bill Gates. That's just kind of stupid. This Bill Gates is really just a psyop. If you're one of the people that is like against Epstein and against Bill Gates and Hillary Clinton, that's kind of like the normative kind of like, okay, yes, those people were bad, but you ought to look, deeper into it. Now, that's beside the topic of the video today, so I won't get into it. But the point is that there's, the elites go far deeper than just the tip of the iceberg, which would be like Bill Gates and all these other people. You got to look for the forest and not just the tree, okay? Anyway, let's keep going. What's this video here? So she's doing parties. Again, I don't want to sound like a hall monitor, but if you're looking for like the most trad Islamic wifey, this isn't it. Let's look at this one where she's with a guy. She's at a club or something. Who cares? Okay, so again, not the most trad. This is just very obvious to me. Let's keep going. So we're over here. She's at several protests. Not a lot of trad women go to protest. In an American context, if you know anything about American politics, a traditional girl might go to a pro-life rally like twice in her entire life with her church group. But aside from that, she doesn't go to protest. She's not involved politically. She's super trad. She's not even on the internet, really. Like, she might have a Instagram account that's private with like 200 followers that she has from like high school and like her extended family with like 2 pictures of her like drinking Starbucks. That's like the ideal. This is not the ideal. Obviously, Lalo, oh my God, you're nitpicking. She's 22. I know that. I'm just saying, if you're talking about, again, you're Sneako, right? And this is no homo, by the way, but like, okay, you're 6'2", you're good looking, you're a millionaire, right-wing person on Rumble. Can you not afford to be picky? If he settles for this chick, I think I could do better. If I were him, I could do better. That's honest. I personally wouldn't date a 22-year-old long-term. I wouldn't marry one. That's older than me. I want a girl younger than me. Obviously, I'm only 20, so it's like, okay, well, like 18, 19. But I'm just saying, like, generally. Because, I'm young. I have to figure stuff out. If a girl's not going to grow with me, a girl that's already 22 outside of college, that girl's not going to want to grow up with me because she's already looking to settle down, because women have a biological clock, and that's okay with me. But you have to also understand that with women that are older comes more baggage. And if you're somebody like Sneako, who's a Chad by normal standards, and again, this is not gay stuff, I'm just being honest, the guy can afford to be picky. And so you ought to critique the women that he's around. And I'm not meat watching. I'm doing it as a service to everybody else. People that saw the video on the pearly things, that are curious what the girl's up to, and we can see if she's actually traditional, if she's actually a good girl, then we can actually ascertain what's going on here. But right now, it doesn't look so hot. Okay, she's less traditional than what she came off in the video. I saw this video like a week ago where, again, she seemed very holistic, but I thought in the back of my mind, there must be something else going on. And so far, I've discovered it. So let's see what else she has on the timeline, because it's like from a year ago. More protesting about global lockdowns and whatever. Again, this is 2023. There is a sign that has social credit system and microchip. The microchip, like QAnon stuff, is just idiotic, and it's obviously super wrong. Not really on the money. The microchip microchip is not really a big problem right now. And to coalesce that with like the COVID hysteria and the lockdown frenzy, the vaccine, and then put in the microchip and like the stuff like that is just Stu Peters nonsense. It's not really the same thing at all. And so that's something that peeves me as part of her temperament that is stupid. Seems like her interest in politics is more so defined in like the stuff she reads on Facebook that's like controversial. Like basically imagine if you had like some like redneck aunt that's like 55 years old that reads Facebook posts and thinks that Donald Trump will be president tomorrow, that sort of thing. I don't believe in that. And so for her to be protesting the COVID lockdowns in 2023, even in England where it is worse than America in regards to how liberal it is over there, I don't see why that would be a pertinent thing to do. So it seems to me as if she has like the side grift of like basically being a like attractive trad protester against the stuff like that. But am I seeing her protest the gay stuff, protest liberalism in general, economic stuff? No. And it seems like she's very feminine in her taste, like insofar as like, oh, this protest is attention. Oh, I don't want to be locked away. I need to go clubbing. Stuff like that. Stuff that isn't really conservative. Stuff that isn't really Islamic. And again, I say that because Sneako is a purported Muslim nowadays. So keep that in mind. Now let's keep on looking. This is a post. All right, so again, look at all these post affirmations, 100 emojis, tell them sis, heart emojis, facts, send them my way, love to hear it, clap emoji. So she's getting a lot of simps in her DMs, I'm assuming, trying to get with her because they agree with her politically. And this is harmful to people because they will simp for girls that don't really deserve the attention just because they agree politically. And a lot of the times, they don't really agree politically. They're just saying that because they grift that way. For instance, there's a lot of girls that would have been in a sorority 20 years ago, but because society has gotten so bad, they're like, okay, well, you know what? This liberal stuff is too cringe and too gay. Well, guess what? Now they're protesting and they're LARPing as traditional. We saw this with Lauren Southern, Tammy Laren, people that aren't actually conservative but are basically getting into a niche because they know that there's a subset of men that are just completely simping for them head over heels, and you ought not fall into that trap. These girls that are online, e-girls, never, okay? Popularized slogan by many people throughout the past 5 years because again, e-girls are never a good idea. Keep that in mind, write that down. Let's keep going. Okay, this crystallizes the problem. This black guy right here. You think this black guy is an intellectual? Probably not, because if he's holding a sign that says Chinese social credit system, who's the smartest person that's promoting the Chinese social credit system? This isn't really something that intellectuals dealt with. This is something that like a 110 IQ conspiracy theorist on Facebook, on Rumble, would purport to say is the big issue here. The Chinese social credit system. Really? These are the same people that say that the CCP is the issue. That, oh, the Nazis controlled the Jews that are doing this. Alex Jones, that's a psyop. They're saying, oh, the CCP runs it. Don't look at Israel. It's the CCP. Just a bunch of inane nonsense. QAnon stuff. Just completely missing the mark. Oh, it's Bill Gates that runs everything. It's not BlackRock. It's not these investment banks. It's not the people that run the banks. It's the people that are running Microsoft, that own Xbox. Really? Is that the real fucking hegemon here? So again, missing the forest for the trees. And she believes in that sort of thing. How smart can the girl be? And again, we don't need a smart girl to wife up because we're already smart as men, assuming that you're in my club, okay? But the fact is that you want the woman to at least, if she has an opinion, to have the right one. She clearly has kind of the right opinions, but that's only because everything else is so shitty as a comparison. So she doesn't really see the outside of the matrix. She just knows the matrix sucks. And so she's not completely red-pilled. And very few women are. But I prefer, honestly, if you had a girl that isn't even anti-vaccine, but just didn't get it because she didn't care for it. I would rather a girl that's naive to it and just, inherently conservative than one that is conservative, but is also a whore on the side. Like what this chick purports to be, at least that's what I read into it, okay? Now let's look at this. I'll be singing, bro. Really? Why would anybody show up to see this girl sing? Like, what the actual hell? Like, if she's any good as a singer, she would have already popped off already. Come on. Let's keep going. What's this? Anti-lockdown Florida issues controversial new guidance telling doctors to warn patients that they could suffer heart attacks. She's still obsessing over the COVID thing, dude. It's been over for like a year at this point. And again, I was on her side. Like, obviously the lockdowns, everything, it was overhyped, overblown. I understand the entire red pill about it. I never got vaccinated, for the record. I never did. I had to put up with a ton of garbage. Almost got kicked out of school for it. But the fact is, though, is that, it's over. So just let it go. I honestly don't even care anymore. Bringing up the COVID thing right now is like bringing up the 2020 election. It's like, look, if you're red pilled on that issue, you're red pilled already. Anybody else that you're espousing it to, like, who honestly cares? It already happened, okay? The red pilling people on the 2020 election, red pilling people on the COVID stuff was pertinent 2 years ago, not now. Just give it up, okay? If you're on the train already, you're on the train. If you're not on the train, you're not going to be willing to get on, okay? If you know what I mean. So it seems like a side grift over here. It's like preaching to the choir, basically. Who in 2023, in mid 2023 in June, is going to say, you know what? Now that this chick, this 22-year-old girl said that it was wrong to lock down everything, now I switch my mind up. What liberal is actually going to say that? It doesn't seem to make any sense to me. And then this pick, this is the most troubling one. To all the haters that say I wear too much makeup and I'd be nothing without it, middle finger. Well, first of all, this is just inherently liberal right here. So right now, you're looking at somebody who is saying that she's conservative, right? But if you look here, look at this. She's, okay, showing a ton of the torso. That's not a good thing. I don't like that. That's obviously not conservative. Again, the piercing in the stomach, that's not conservative at all. And mind you, I'm nitpicking because this girl is getting a lot of support from right-wing people, and facetiously at that, because it's not a good thing, of course. And it's really under a pretense of like, oh, I'm this good girl. Meanwhile, she's posting this in public. Just imagine what she does in the background. Probably sleeping with her favorite right-wing interlocutors. Probably sleeping with Paul Joseph Watson, people like this. Lauren Southern do have done the same thing. So I'm not really surprised if this girl will do the same thing. So that's what I got to say about that. Now, in respect to the curly hair, I don't like curly hair. I just feel the need to bring that up. I just hate it so much. But that's up to you guys. That's subjective. Now, look at the phone. The phone, with the phone case colorful, that's a red flag. I don't even know how to articulate myself. Like, usually I'm a very high verbal IQ person, but like, I don't really understand. Like, a girl with like a particular phone case, that's a really bad idea. Girls with really decked out phone cases tend to be either really high maintenance and like bitches, or they can be really like up their own ass and like gay and stuff like that. And so for her to have whatever she has there is really cringe to me. It probably has to do something with the vaccine. Like, oh, I'm not vaxxed. Like, okay, we get it, babe. You don't got to say it all the time. When was the last time you heard me mention that I'm unvaccinated? It just hasn't come up because that's not my personality. Who honestly cares? If you ask me, I'll just say it, okay? Like, if you ask me, Lalo, are you Latino? Yeah, I'm Mexican too. Do I bring it up every video? I hardly ever do, because it just doesn't come up. Because these sort of like identity issues, these wedge issues, are just a waste of everybody's time. We ought to be more holistic with the way we talk so that we can appeal to more people and progress forward. But instead, we're getting lodged into like these grifts where we can grift, horny millennial men like this chick does, into getting simp attention on Instagram. That's something that we ought to aspire to cast out and say, this girl is not good. She's not high quality. And moreover, at least somebody like Tammy Laren is hotter than this chick. Okay, say what you will about regular like Instagram thoughts, but Haley Steinfeld is hotter than this chick. And I'm under no pretenses that either of them are going to be my wife. Okay, just straight up. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, Haley Steinfeld is like in her late 20s. I'm only 20, so like I'm not under any false illusions. Like, I can say the girl's hot and not want to wife her up. This girl is not even that attractive, and I'm not going to wife her up either. Fact is, she wouldn't like me anyway, because again, like, what do I have? Where's my clout? I'm a baby over here. Anyway, so again, horrible red flag right here. And again, and her need to address the haters is just horrible to me personally. And with the middle finger is never gonna leave the mind of a pretty girl. Like, if I were to imagine my wife flipping somebody off, I don't like that. I don't like it. And again, I personally don't think that swear words are a sin, but I just don't want to hear my wife say curse words because I just don't like it. It just doesn't come off as feminine. It seems kind of like male. And so when a girl says like F you or suck my D, that is just gross. And so when she says, oh, middle finger to the haters, I hate that sort of thing. Stop it now. Knock it off. Knock it off. You're supposed to be around all these right-wing people, all these red pill dating people, and you're going to act that way in public? That's a horrible sign for you as a woman, for starters. Second thing, to all the haters that say I wear too much makeup, well, guess what? You look pretty average, pretty plain without makeup. You don't look great either way. So again, for you to be this insecure shows magnitudes of insincerity magnitudes of up your own assness, because of course you are obsessed with the social media, just like a lot of girls are in modernity these days, which means that you're not a real traditional woman. Okay. Also, what girl, and again, I have a frame of reference where I know girls that are actually conservative, that are actually attractive, and none of them have these features. That piercing in the stomach. No, the wife that I want to have does not have a piercing anywhere, like on the body, on the nose. Okay, they'll have piercings in the ears, tops. Okay, and I'm not being overtly picky. I know these girls exist, and I feel like I can get one eventually. And a lot of my critiques might seem like hollow because, like, well, Lalo, where's your girl? Well, I'm 20. I'm still building up to it. I'm still in college. I'm halfway through it. Gotta let things progress. But somebody like Sneako, who's my frame of reference here, where he was on the date with her, that guy's successful. He's 5 years older than me. He has his shit together. He's taller than me. You think he would figure things out? Apparently, he got flabbergasted by how base this girl is, which is a real black pill if you're dealing with girls nowadays. If that's the pinnacle right here, a 6 out of 10 who's just completely retarded. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Anyway, yeah, no, that's about it. I think I've seen enough. We'll go through her Twitter a little bit too because why not? We're gonna do some extra credit here for the show. So right now, you look here, and she says she's 22-year-old participant in the human experiment, otherwise known as the BBC to unvaccinated exposed Bill Gates and Fauci live. Again, this sort of like anti-vax stuff, this like anti-Fauci thing is so played out. It's so lame. It's so lame. It reeks of like, instead of TPUSA saying like that, Democrats are the real racist, now it's like, oh, Bill Gates, all this, all this. Nobody fucking cares anymore. And it's just super stupid. And again, just 51,000 followers. What girl is still a virgin at 22 with 51,000 followers? There's no freaking way. So red flag right there. 51,000 followers? Are you kidding me? And most of them are probably men, mind you. And if you're a girl and you exist on the internet to any capacity, you have guys trying to hit you up constantly. So for you to be on the internet and plus have your own like niche following is horrible, horrible for the girl's self-esteem, because she's gonna have it inflated. And now you're dealing with the girl that normally, if you found her at Starbucks, would have a normal ego for a girl, which is still too high usually in modernity. But now she's gonna have that plus the simps that are like red pill, and that's just too bad because it'll inflate her self-being, the way she perceives herself as better than what she actually is, which is like a mid girl, to be honest. Anyway, let's keep going. I'll read you a sample of like half a dozen tweets so that we can see what happens. She's milking the Sneako thing for whatever it's worth. It's been like a week or two since they filmed that episode, and for Sneako to have not dated her yet or like, been public with her so far means one of two things. Either one, he got to fuck her and that was it, and he didn't care for her like past that because she's too old or something, which is a bad sign for her if you get pumped and dumped by a Sneako. Or two, he tried to smash and she rejected him, and he didn't view her as the like investment, like he didn't think the chase was worth it because she's too used up, because she's too malignant, she's not hot enough. In which case, that's her fault, obviously, because she let herself get used by losers or something. So either way, it's a loss for her. And so, maybe she's not trad or maybe she's not hot enough. And so, is she really worth simping for? I don't really think so. Let's keep going. Here. Unjab, check. Awake to the NWO, check. Wants to be self-sufficient, check. Wants 7 kids, check. Drinks raw eggs, eats meat. Again, really cringe, superficial red pill stuff. Oh, raw eggs, eats meat. Really? Do you think that a priest, a really conservative Catholic priest, do you think he cares if he eats raw eggs? No, but he's more socially clean than the average person, okay? The average God-fearing priest or pastor doesn't really care what he eats, and he's still more morally clean than this 22-year-old that's LARPing about, oh my God, I need to have my own farm in the hills or whatever. She's lying to you. She's selling you a dream. This is all a cope. All a cope. Those Twitter accounts where they have like a Roman statue and they said like, oh, you need to work out and work on the farm. Those people are living in their mom's basement. I'm over here living in my dad's house telling you how it is. And again, eating fast food isn't healthy, but I'm not going to lie and say I haven't eaten fast food in the last month because I ate fast food like 2 weeks ago. So like, so I'm not going to lie to you, but this girl will pretty much. And even if she's not self-aware about the grift, no, she is self-aware. I'm not going to give her credit, but some girls aren't self-aware. They think that they're actually pushing an agenda that is like holistically their own. Fact is that they take their talking points from men, almost all of it. And you see that with the dynamic with like Rollo Tomasi and the Pearly Things girl. Obviously, that girl is taking her talking points from like Andrew Tate and people like that. And you have to, these women that are pick-me's, these girls aren't really the answer. These girls aren't really the whole enchilada. They're not really these people that we ought to aspire to be with, because they're, for one, kind of too old. Like in this case, she's 22. You'd prefer her at 19. Second of all, they're not as hot as like other girls. Three would be that they're more whores than they let on, and that's obviously the case because they don't want to be stigmatized as being a 304 to be a thought, and that's too bad for them. But turns out that Nazarene, the verdict is that you're overrated. Guys probably view her as a unicorn, like 1 in 1,000. She's probably like a 1 in 80. Like top 2% girl for sure. But that's not any virtue to her as a person. It just shows that how bad society is nowadays. If you saw Nazarene in the 1950s, she would not be special at all. She'd be an average girl at best. I think that she'd be like a decent like mall girlfriend circa 1995. Turns out it's 2023, so her value is artificially inflated. But I'm just telling you how it is, okay? Let's say there's a society where all of a sudden most cars don't even work, and so a 2013 Camry seems like a very sexy option. But I'm just telling you right now that even if it does work out, it's not the best car, and so this Nazarene girl is not the best. And if she is watching the video, it's nothing really personal. I don't know you at all. You don't know that I exist until now. But the point is that you're not really this conservative girl that you let on, and I think that that's just very evident. So we'll see what happens, and comment down below what you think, and let me know what you want me to make more content on, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.